Hello and welcome to Sew and Stack by Abaniz. There is no better feeling than reading a good book. And a cute little bookmark like this one can add a little bit of more comfy feeling to that experience. So it's time to see how to make a colorful bookmark like this one. The one big problem all the sewists have in common is scrap fabrics. For me, specifically, it is felt scraps. The cool thing about felt is it does not fray. Yes, I'm making a bookmark today and at the same time, I want to get rid of some of my scrap felt. First, I'm choosing some of the smaller pieces of scrap felt fabrics and I'm leaving somewhat bigger pieces so I can use them in making another project. If you want to stick into a specific color theme, choose your scraps according to that. I'm selecting a lot of different colors, so it's gonna be a colorful one. We're gonna need two 7 by 2 inches felt pieces as the base for this project. I have first cut that from a piece of board, so it is easier to cut the fabric using it like this, or you can use this template to draw on the fabric and then cut the fabric after. The color of the base fabric is completely up to you. What we're going to do is just place the scraps on top of the base layer and start sewing. If you are not into sewing, you can just glue it. Sew the scraps just enough to attach it to the base layer. I'm using back stitch and I'm stitching along the mid part of each scrap. You can shape the scraps by cutting them into smaller pieces so they will align with the other pieces. You can sew it by hand or you can use the sewing machine for this. I'm sewing the first few pieces by hand and I'm gonna use the sewing machine to do the rest. By placing scraps like this, you are making a beautiful mosaic pattern. Color selection is completely up to you, and if you would like, you can make one to go with your book cover as well. Sewing everything by hand will take some time, but it will be a fun sewing project to do even with your kids. They can choose colors for themselves and have much fun with you. Now I'm going to do the rest with the sewing machine. This will make things easier and quick. Go with the lower speed so you can place the scraps one by one. Because you have a base fabric, leaving spaces in between won't be a problem. Now I'm done with the sewing one layer and flip it the other side so you can cut the parts extending from the base layer. I want to get rid of more scraps, so I'm doing the same to the other base layer as well. If you think one side is enough, you can skip this part completely. Whenever you are using a sewing machine, remember to backstitch in the beginning and the ending as well. Now we have a beautiful mosaic pattern in both layers and we are ready to assemble them together. I'm running a small business, so I have some scraps of ribbon as well. I think adding a little ribbon to a bookmark is really helpful. I'm selecting this red one, which I think goes well with the pattern I made. If you sew by hand, use blanket stitch or whip stitch to go around it. I'm using the sewing machine for this part and start by keeping the two layers aligned like this. I'm just holding the two layers, but you can use the craft clip for this. Because this is felt, you don't need to leave lot of seam allowance. I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance and just start sewing straight. Make sure you attach the ribbon on the top. For that, place the folded ribbon in between the two layers and sew forward and again backward to secure the ribbon. Sew all the way till you meet the starting point. Always remember to backstitch in the beginning and the ending whenever you use a sewing machine. Finally, trim the threads and now our bookmark is ready to go and hide in the world of books. These bookmarks are really one of a kind. You can't replicate it because each and every scrap is unique. Try this one as your easy summer project or make a one to give to your loved ones. Hope you have enjoyed this sewing project and I'll join you in the next one.